the various
recording
legal
in
teams
progress
from the State Law Advisor, the Department of Home Affairs, the IEC, as well as from Parliamentary Legal Services. Welcome to this meeting. I just want to verify attendance of honorable members. We have Honorable Dodovu, Honorable Mtetwa, Honorable Dango, Honorable Bartlett, Honorable Ndongeni. There's Honorable Lavaskatni, who is the alternate to Honorable Mikalakis, who will not be with us today. I just want to verify if I've left out any Honorable Dango. I'm not sure if I've left out any other honorable members. Gershwin and Zolani, do we have any apologies from honorable members besides the one for Honorable Mikalakis?
Good morning, Chairperson and members. It's only Honorable Saleko, Chair, that is not with us today, but he has taken up another post.
Okay. All right. Then just in terms of the required quorums, if you can maybe comment on that as well.
Yes, Chairperson, in terms of the rules, we need 1/3 present, and currently I have 7 members, Chairperson. So it would be correct.
All right, cool, great. No, thank you very much. Once again, welcome honorable members, and welcome to all other stakeholders on this platform. In terms of the meeting today, we expecting to deal with the adoption of the proposed amendments on the Electoral Amendment Bill. We would also deal with the clause-by-clause adoption of the bill, and as well as the adoption of the committee report on the Electoral Amendment Bill. Our members, in our last meeting, we deliberated on the proposed amendments, and we made further refinements on the bill. And the matters raised by honorable members in that meeting was firstly to make more explicit the requirement with regard to instances when an independent candidate or unrepresented registered political party did not achieve the 20% of the highest of the regional quota, and how this will be addressed in the bill, and that it should be made more explicit. And then secondly, to clearly outline how the electoral reform panel within its mandate makes decisions, and whether once the panel is dissolved to prevent members of the panel making public statements on such decisions or disagreements, and bearing in mind the constitutional provisions of the freedom of speech and the limitation of rights. Now, these amendments have a bearing on clauses 3, 6, and the new clause on the electoral reform consultation panel. We had requested in our previous meeting that the legal teams look into these issues raised by members and finalize the proposals. I think this has been done, and a document is prepared by the legal team, has been distributed to members. Just in terms of the procedure, honourable members, I will request the State Law Advisor to take the committee through the amendments. Thereafter, I'll allow the Department of Home Affairs, IEC, and Parliamentary Legal Services to comment if they have any. And if members are satisfied thereafter, then we'll look at the amendment to the bill, as well as the clause-by-clause adoption of the proposed amendments. With that said, let me then hand over to the State Law Advisors to then take us through the submission.
Chairperson?
Yes, ma'am.
I've raised my hand.
Oh, okay. Apologies. I didn't see that. Honorable Lavaskatni?
First of all, thank you very much. I am standing in, as you said, for Honorable Mikalakis. He also gave me all the information and briefed me. And I just want to raise some issue before we continue, which is a procedural issue for us. You are aware of the fact that Mr. Michael Atkinson sent an email to the chairperson and to Mr. Rentu, allegedly that the IEC misled the committee, and that was never brought to the committee. And I feel really strongly that these objections or what the member of the public had to say about and the submission needs to be presented to the committee. And the strongest reason for that is if you read Mr. Atkinson's email, the content of that, if he is correct, might change some things in the bill. So I think it is important for us to at least deal with his submission as well as the IEC's comment on that. And I think we should do that before we come into voting or discussing the bill as is. Thank you, Chair.
No, thank you very much, Honorable Abastagni. I think as you indicated, Mr. Atkins did write an email to myself as the chairperson, and we also requested him to then formalize it through official channels, which he did. What we should also note is the fact that as a committee, we took a decision not to open up the submissions to oral submissions. Secondly, Mr. Atkins' issue, we tried to deal with it as well in terms of forwarding the matter to the IEC for them to respond. Mr. Atkins had also indicated to us that he was having a meeting with the IEC to address his concerns, and that meeting has taken place. We had requested also the IEC to then provide us with a written submission around the aspects you raised and also around their engagement. Thank you. I'll then open it up for other honorable members if you have any comments on the matter to come in on there. Honorable Abastagni, is your hand still up? You okay? All right. No, fine. I'll take Honorable Bartlett, Honorable Mtetwa.
Sorry, Chair. Good morning to all the members. No, Chair, you already clarified the issue, but I think I didn't hear properly because I thought the honorable member said that the IEC misled Mr. Atkins, but then you clarified, Chair. Thank you very much because I couldn't hear properly what you were saying.
Okay, Honorable Mtetwa.
No, I stand by your decision, Chair. You were correct. The matter you unpacked it very well. Maybe to the new honorable member that has joined us today, she should have been forwarded with this decision of the committee. Thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you very much, Honorable Mtetwa. Any other honorable member? Honorable, oh, your hand is still up, Honorable Abastagni. I thought it was perhaps the legacy one, but
No, I'll put it up again.
ma'am, you may continue.
Yes, Chairperson, I understand that you said one of the issues is, I do understand that you didn't open it up for oral submissions. What I said is the committee should take notice and we should be informed of what Mr. Atkinson said. And as the Honorable Bartlett requested, Mr. Atkinson said that the IEC misled the committee, not me. I said what he said in his letter. And therefore, my request is that the committee should be informed of what he said, as well as what the IEC's response was before we can continue. Otherwise, there's a part of a submission and procedurally it's incorrect. Committee cannot, there's nothing that the chair and the secretary can receive that's not been brought to the committee. That's procedural incorrect. That's what I'm saying.
No, I think it's not a procedural incorrect issue, Honorable Abastagni. I think what Mr. Atkins required is that he addresses the committee on these matters. What I said is that the committee took a decision not to accept oral submissions. I further said that Mr. Atkins' matter was referred to the IEC. Secondly, the IEC and Mr. Atkins had met. And what we had requested, which is also outside of our procedure, was for the IEC as well to provide us with a written submission on the matter. I see Honorable Mtetwa, your hand is raised, Honorable Mtetwa.
Yes,
Or is it your
Chair.
leg hand? Okay.
Yes, Chair. Chair, we've got no bearing to deal with this matter. You're correct. That's why I said you correctly unpacked this matter by saying that we were not listening to individual presentation to this bill. We will therefore defer this matter to the relevant department or section that have dealt with the matter. This comment cannot be held ransom on this matter, a matter that has not been discussed by the committee. Is outside of our scope as we have unpacked it, Chair. May I propose that we move with the work of the day. Thank you very much, Chair.
No, thank you very much, Honorable Bartlett.
Honorable Chairperson, I second the proposal of Comrade Mtetwa. Honorable Mtetwa, sorry. Let's just proceed here because we already discussed this matter. Thank you very much.
Honorable Dodo. Honorable Member Dodo.
Yes, Honorable Chair. Thank you very much for the opportunity. I really don't understand this matter at all, and why are we discussing it in the way that we are. Firstly, we set out the process of inviting members of the public to make written submissions. There was an open date, there was a closed date. And members of the public and organizations have done so. We have said we are not going to do oral submissions because of the limitations of time and other considerations. Now, this morning, we are bombarded by this person acting, and I'm not sure whether his member is that member or that member of the public a member of the DA or what? Is Ms. Labuskagen representing that person because he's a member of the public, or is just a member of the DA or what? Because as you explained, Honorable Chairperson, you did receive the submission from Mr. Atkinson. You have referred that to the IEC, and you have also responded to that individual. And the matter is closed. Now, we are barraged by serious allegations that the IEC has misled this committee. For me, this is extremely, extremely serious, especially to a body that ostensibly is independent. And I don't really know why do we have to entertain this. If Ms. Labuskagen is not acting on behalf of this gentleman in a DA way, can we leave this matter? If Mr. Atkinson is aggrieved about our decision, he has the right to inform us, or he has the right to explore other remedies to attend to his query. But for now, I don't really understand why are we dragged into this to an extent that we've got to spend more time entertaining a matter that you have so eloquently clarified in terms of what you did to respond to this particular matter. Thank you very much. I propose that we need to move forward, Honorable Chairperson. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Honorable Labuskagen, I think I won't provide you with another option because I don't think we want to engage in a dialogue on the matter.
I'm so sorry, Chair.
And Honorable, I
I'm
didn't
sorry,
recognize.
Chair. On a point of order, then I raise my hand again, and I want to say the following things. First of all, this person is, my name is Kathy Labuskagen, Honorable de Dovo, and I am not lowering myself to certain standards that if you are in the habit of presenting certain people by your party in a committee, that's your problem. I've never met Mr. Atkins.
You see,
I hope
Honorable
you know.
Labaskatni,
Chairperson,
No,
what has been said is
No,
that the committee discussed the letter. I understand that you didn't open it for
Chair,
oral submissions.
Honorable
But the
Slapskachen
submission
is
that
bullying
was
us.
the
No,
submission.
You can't come to our first meeting. It's the first
no.
Are
time
you the
come to the
EFF?
meeting.
What is going
Now,
on?
we stand
No,
here
no,
The
no.
submission that
don't
has
bully
been
us,
submitted
Honorable
to the
Slacken,
committee was
please.
a written one.
no,
All
it
I
was
say
submitted
is
to the chairperson of
I
the
don't know
committee.
when
I
we
think,
can
let me
discuss it
clarify
with
that,
the
Honorable
committee.
Labaskatni, and I think that it was submitted
Chairperson,
to the chairperson of the committee. We run with this
but
process.
the
It was outside of this
chairperson of the
process.
committee is not the
No,
committee.
no,
the
This
meeting
is
is
a
for the
part of the
chairperson.
submission.
You are not a
Labaskatni,
chairperson. Now we
the
are
committee
sitting in
is
the
the decision, and I think
No.
you're
Can
out
you
of order,
respect the
Honorable
chairperson,
Labaskatni.
Labiskachen?
No.
Honorable Labiskachen,
Honorable members,
respect the
honorable members, please.
Chairperson, am I bullied in this committee? This
Yes,
is the
you
feeling that I'm
are
getting.
a bully. You
Yes.
are a bully. It's
No.
the
Honorable
first time.
members,
You are a bully.
honorable
You are the
members,
first time. Now you
honorable
drag
members, order.
Chairperson,
Honorable
with all
members,
due respect, this was a written submission that
honorable
we
members.
don't
did
come
not
here to
deal with.
bully us. Please,
When
No,
you are the
honorable
first time
members,
to
please.
come. We don't know even you are here.
Honorable members, honorable members, please order. Honorable Labaskatni is here as the alternate to Honorable Mikalakis, and she's thus recognized as a member of this committee. Let's just clarify that matter.
Oh, no, Honorable Chair, but
No,
she
she's
has
not.
an
She's the
obligation
alternate.
to
Yes,
respect the proceedings of the meeting.
No, she does, and
No,
that
she
is what
doesn't.
I
and
want.
I
She's just
have the
interfering even
obligation
when
to
it's...
respect
I
the
raised my hand,
rules of
Chairperson.
Look what she's
And
doing
Honorable
now.
Labaskatni, I don't think we're going to
Look
allow
what
you
she's
to
doing now.
try
I'm on
and
the
run this
platform.
meeting the way you
Chairperson,
want.
if you allow the ANC to just talk when they talk, then you can allow
No,
me to
I've
just talk
asked
when I
all
talk.
honorable members to come to order in this meeting. Okay, Honorable Labaskatni, I said to you that you've made your point. We've clarified your point. There's a feeling by also majority of members of this committee that we need to continue with this process, and we will continue with this process.
We
Okay,
can't-
and I'm not
feeling
recognizing you
the fact
again.
of
If
the
you
matter
have,
is
if you're
this
having a
committee
problem,
didn't deal with the submission.
Chair, raise my hand.
no, we're
You
not
sent it
dealing
to
with
the
that.
IEC and we didn't discuss the submission. We didn't get the
Honorable
IEC. feedback on
Labiskachen,
it.
There's a reason why
don't
you
make
did not.
a dialogue with the
did not.
chairperson. Don't make a
Right.
dialogue with the
All right, members, we're
chairperson.
moving on to the agenda item. I
Well,
called
on
on
your
the
watch,
state
this
law
will be taken
advisors.
to court as you ignored the public.
I called on the state law advisor to then take us through the submission. Over to you, state law advisors.
Thank you, Chairperson. Good morning, Chairperson. Good morning, honorable members. Good morning, commissioners. Good morning, learned colleagues. Chairperson, if I can request that the committee flag the draft that we sent to the committee, please.
Gershwin or Zolani, please, sir.
Thank you, Chairperson. Chairperson, as you...
Chairperson, just apologies. Sorry for interrupting. I just want to be sure that I have the correct draft. The one that says sent at 10:30 on the 24th of November. Can I just confirm that that is the correct one?
Yes, that's the correct one.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you. Chairperson, we'll highlight the changes that we made to the draft. Okay. If the committee can go to clause 3, item 3, as the chairperson indicated, the concern raised by the chairperson, those we made amendments in respect of clause 3 and clause 6 of the bill. Okay. We go to paragraph CB, yeah, subparagraph 1, subparagraph BB. Thank you. Yeah, it's highlighted in red. We've provided that, we've inserted that provision, and similarly we did the same to clause 6, which reads as follows. It now reads totaling 20% of the highest of the regional quotas in the preceding election when nominating candidates for more than one region, provided that where 20% of the highest of the quotas is not achieved, that the party may only nominate candidates for the region or regions as determined by the next highest quota. Thank you. And then we go to clause 6, paragraph A, subparagraph 1, double B. Thank you. It will now read totaling 20% of the highest of the regional quotas in the preceding election if intending to contest more than one region, provided that where 20% of the highest of the quota is not achieved, that the independent candidate may only contest the region or regions as determined by the next highest quota. Okay. Then the following amendment was relating to the decisions of the panel. Can you kindly move to the new clause, clause 23? Yeah, thank you. You can go further down. The department made these proposals, Chairperson. It's with regard to, we can go to 23 subsection 2A. Yes, it now reads, the functions of the panel are to independently investigate, consult on, report on, and make non-binding recommendations in respect of potential reforms of the electoral system for the election of the National Assembly and the election of the provincial legislatures in respect of the elections to be held after the 2024 elections. Thank you. And the next one is in clause 5, subclause 5. Thank you. It now reads that the 5A, the report contemplated in subsection 4 must reflect the views of the members of the panel as to the possible options and recommendations for electoral reform. Paragraph B, in the case of disagreement as to the possible options and recommendations for electoral reform, the report may be divided into different sections setting out the different views of the members. Thank you, Chair. That's the changes that we made to the proposed amendments by the Select Committee in respect of Bill 1B of 2022. Thank you.
No, thank you very much, Ms. Williams, for that presentation. Members will agree that indeed it is in line with our discussions that we had in our last meeting. I'm going to allow the Department of Home Affairs, the IEC, and the Parliamentary Legal Services in that order to make any comment if they have. Or yeah, please, over to you, Home Affairs. Are the legal people from Home Affairs present? If they have anything to add.
Yes, morning colleagues. My name is Sibonga Ngwenya. I concur with the proposed amendments as discussed in our previous meetings. It actually captures what was discussed previously. Thank you, Chair.
The IEC.
Good morning, Chairperson, honorable members, the Minister and his team, and my colleagues. Chairperson of the session, I think I'm going to ask for your indulgence, yours and the committees, just to set the record straight on a matter that has been raised. It relates to our engagements with Mr. Atkins. Mr. Atkins did make submissions when the committee requested submissions to be made. The committee on technical issues referred some of those submissions to us. You know, on the technical part of those submissions. We did, in fact, submit back to the committee and indicated a number of models and stated assumptions to each one of those models. Mr. Atkins then wrote to us and say, I ask for an opportunity to meet with you because on one of the models, I don't agree with you. We, in fact, accepted his invitation and we have met with him. We had a meeting. We did not agree that we have misled this committee, and we did not agree that the model we presented with assumptions we put was misleading or false. We asked him and we ended amicably on that score. we asked him to go and put in writing exactly what it is that he has a problem with, because he could not articulate in a manner that we understood in the meeting. Mr. Atkins has since done so. We are looking at his letter, and we will respond to him and favor this committee with that response. We deny that we have misled this committee, and we think it's not proper, whilst we are considering the matter, that we are said to have misled this committee when we don't agree, and the assumptions we made to this committee are clear. And we will deal with this matter in the appropriate manner. We'll respond to him and favor this committee with our response. And I just thought it was important to set that record straight. In relation to matters concerning the bill, I'd like to invite the CEO and his team to deal with the amendments that have been made. I do not wish to engage anything further, Chairperson. I just thought it was important that this committee gets our view on record. Thank you so much.
Chair of the committee and Chairperson of the Commission and the Minister, the refinements that were requested on Wednesday have been encapsulated in clause 3 and 6, as well as in the new clause, and we confirm that we all support the refinements as requested by the committee. Thanks.
The Parliamentary Legal Services.
Good morning, Chairperson. It's Savio and Jigala here. Chairperson, just to confirm that we have conferred with our colleagues. We have given consideration to what was proposed, and we are comfortable with that has been put forward now. And we will be happy to proceed on that basis. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much to all the legal teams. Perhaps the indulgence as requested by the chair of the commission, the Independent Electoral Commission. I think perhaps I allowed that also, because I think it's very to note that as a committee we respect the independence of the Independent Electoral Commission. The commission has an important responsibility that has been assigned to it, and it has to also ensure that elections are free and fair. And I think it's wrong to try and create any aspersions, on the IEC based on what a single individual is saying and insisting that the committee must try and look into. And I think we respect that the IEC will address the concerns that were raised with them and also provide us with a record to that effect. Thank you very much, honorable members.
Chair, I have my hand up.
I think we're at the point of tabling. Oh, Honorable Vaskakni, your point is on?
Yes, Chair. I just want to understand. Thank you very much to the clarity from the chair of the commission. I just want to understand one thing. The chair of the commission said that they've met, that they've discussed. There was one model that they didn't agree on. They're requesting to give that in a written submission back to them. And
Point of order, Chair.
Clarity, he
Point
is
of order, Chair.
Okay. Honorable Lavasotne, there's a point of order. It has never happened in my meetings before, but Honorable Mtetwa, please, with your point of order.
We have ruled in this matter, Chair, and the commission said he just wanted to put his own side. We don't want to entertain this matter again. That's where my point of order is.
No, and you're very correct, Honorable Mtetwa. Honorable Lavaskatni, can you please allow the committee to continue with the work that we
Chairperson, I need
started?
some clarity. The committee, the chair of the committee said that they are still
committee.
looking. They are still looking at a submission from a member of the public, and now we are going.
Point of order,
and we
Chair.
don't know.
You know, Honorable
will-
Lavaskatni, I think we're not going to entertain this point. I think what the commissioner had said is that they did not agree that they misled the committee. And the
That is a point. I never said that he.
Point
that
of
the-
order,
that the
Chair. There is
committee
no
misled
matter
the
to
Lavaskatni, you
discuss
see,
this
you
item.
want to enter into a dialogue now in this meeting.
No,
So
Chair, I want
proposing
to
that
ask
you
a
allow.
question. I want
you
to
allow
ask
the
a question
committee
of
to
clarity.
continue
I
with its
want to
process.
raise the question to the chair of the
Okay, then
IEC.
raise your question, please.
He said they are still looking at the
Point of
response
order,
of a member
Chair.
of the Republic. I want
Point
to
of
ask
order,
him,
Chair. Point of order. The commissioner said that he's not prepared to be engaged on the matter. So this matter is
no,
closed.
this is a bill.
Can
This
we
is a
close this matter?
I raise my hand, Chair.
Chairperson, it's
Honorable Lavaskatni,
absolutely
Honorable
clear. Yeah,
Lavaskatni,
no,
I'm going
Chairperson,
to
it's
rule you
absolutely
completely out of order. in
Chairperson,
this
on a
meeting.
point of order, it's
Chair.
very clear.
No,
that
you
the
can't
Can you
raise
please
order.
roll-
time
can we
is
Point of
please
roll
order,
this
we are out
process
of order,
and taking
Honorable
away
Lavaskatni.
my rights as a member of parliament and sitting here representing.
We're not taking away any of your rights, Honorable
No,
Lavaskatni, but
no, Chairperson. On your watch,
the entire
on your
committee
watch,
has
this
the
bill will
entire
go
committee,
to
and
court.
I don't
No,
accept
Chair.
any allegations
No,
that you're trying to
I've
make in
been-
this committee. Can you respect the processes of this
I'm not
committee?
even
Can you
allowed to
respect
ask a
the views
question
of all
clarity.
members of this committee? Honorable Lavaskatni, you yourself,
I've
you
never
want to
been
be
treated in
respected
a
in this
committee
committee.
like
Can you
this.
respect the rest of
Never
the
been
committee?
treated in any committee in this parliament the way
Honorable
I've
Lavaskatni,
been.
can you allow the process to unfold? Thank you very much.
No,
Honourable
I
members,
will not allow
proposing-
the process to unfold. The process unfolding is I am questioning because procedurally, the IEC is looking at the submission while we are voting on the bill. How is this possible?
Point
How is
of
this
order,
possible?
Thank you
Chair.
very much, Honorable Lavaskatni. Your point is noted. It will go into the minutes.
Yeah, it's obvious.
Honourable
that
members,
the ANC is not going to entertain
I'm
any
tabling
points because
the
they want
amendments
justice
on the
for
bill.
young.
Chair,
If I can get a mover for the amendments and a second, and
Chair.
Honorable Lavaskatni, please do not interrupt this meeting.
I move,
I think we've
Chair.
allowed you a lot of leeway. I've tried to be respectful to you, but please do not interrupt this meeting going forward unless you're recognized to do so.
Yes, Chair, as long as you're not allowed the
I
ANC
said
to do
you
the same.
do not interrupt this meeting, please. Thank you
No?
very much.
Is the other people
If
interrupting?
you have any views to raise in relation to our processes, you may raise them at that point. Honourable members, allow me then to table the amendments on the bill if I can get a mover and a seconder with regard to that.
I will move, Chairperson.
Thank you, Honourable
Second,
Dango.
Chair. Honorable
Thank you,
Barker,
Honourable
second.
Bartlett. Right, are there any objections to that? Okay, if none, are there any abstentions to that? Honourable Professor,
There's an objection.
Honourable Professor,
Honorable Chair, can you hear me?
yes, I
Am
can hear you.
audible?
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
I raise an objection. I raise an objection.
So you
in terms
object to the tabling of the bill. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think that being said, honourable members, I think given that I think majority of the members of this committee are not objecting to that, we'll then move into the clause by clause adoption of the bill. Honourable members, clause 3 and 6 largely ensures that there is parity and fairness in the treatment of independent candidates and political parties. Similar to the requirements for independent candidates in clause 6, clause 3 provides for parties who are registered but not represented in the National Assembly or the provincial legislatures. They will be required to produce the 20% quota of signatures of votes. Further, that once the independent candidate and registered parties are represented in the National Assembly or provincial legislatures, they would be exempt from this requirement. Members, allow me to table clause 3 for adoption. If there is a mover for the adoption, a seconder for the adoption of the clause. Members.
I move for the adoption of the clause, Honorable Chair.
Thank you very much, Honorable. If I can get a seconder.
Honorable Ndongeni, second, Chair.
Thank you very much. Are there any objections and or abstentions? Okay, if there are none, we'll then move on to, it would imply, Honorable Professor,
Yes, I object again. Thank you.
clause 3. All right, given that majority of the members are in support of the clause is carried. We'll then move on to clause 6. Honorable members, if I can get a mover and a seconder for the adoption of the clause.
I move,
Honorable-
Honorable Chair Bartlett. I
Thank
move,
you,
Honorable Chairperson.
Thank you, Honorable Bartlett. Is there a seconder?
Honorable Malika, I second.
Thank you very much. Are there any objections and or abstentions? Okay, if none, the clause is carried. We'll then move to clause 21, honorable members, which makes amendments to Schedule 1A of the revised bill, and it deals largely with awarding the seats in case of an independent candidate that contests more than one region with a greater proportion of votes instead of most votes, which also gives better effect to the voice of voters. It rectifies the forfeiture calculation, which also inadvertently protects an independent to gain a seat on a remainder. When an independent candidate has to make a choice between either provincial or regional seats, it is treated as a vacancy and not a forfeiture calculation, so that any seats already won are retained. There are other consequential amendments, deletions to certain phrases that are redundant and errors that appeared in the revised bill, and the inclusion of a reverse forfeiture calculation, which is essential to protect seats midterm should a vacancy arise. Our members, I table clause 21 for adoption. If I can get a mover and a seconder for that.
I move, Honorable Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Bartlett. A seconder for that. Is there a seconder for
Honorable Ndongeni.
Thank you very much. Are they honorable? Okay. Are there any objections and abstentions?
No.
Okay, none. Thank you, honorable members. The clause is carried. We'll then move to the new clause, which establishes the Electoral Reform Consultation Panel to investigate, consult on, and make non-binding recommendations in respect of potential reforms of the electoral system. This clause will serve as a transitional provision in the amendment bill. And the clause further deals with reporting and timeframes for reporting, establishment and constituting the panel, the functioning and the dissolution of the panel, amongst others. Our members, allow me then to table the new clause with regard to Electoral Reform Consultation Panel for adoption. If I can get a mover and a seconder with regard to that.
I move, Chair, Honorable Mtetwa.
I second.
Thank you, Honorable. Thank you, Honorable Mtetwa, Honorable Dango. Are there any objections and or abstentions in this regard?
Yes, Chair, there's an objection.
Okay, the DA objects on this one. Okay, I think that being said, honorable members, I think a majority of the members are in support of the amendment bill. And I think we'll now consider the committee report with regard to this amendment bill. I'm going to request either Gershon or Zolani, whoever's reflecting the report, to please put it up on the screen. Members would have received copies of the report as well. Okay, I'll just take members through the report so that we all on the same page, because I also understand that we did send the report relatively late to members. The first paragraph reads as follows: that the Select Committee on Security and Justice, having deliberated on and considered the subject of the Electoral Amendment Bill, B1B 2020 National Assembly Section 75, referred to the Select Committee on Security and Justice on the 20th of October 2022, classified by the JTM as a Section 75 bill, reports that it has agreed to the bill with proposed amendments. The background then covers what the amendment bill seeks to achieve, and I think I'm not going to go into that. The next point deals with the public participation process, that the bill was advertised in 9 official languages from the 24th of October to the 9th of November 2022, and on 7 SABC radio stations calling for written submissions on the bill. The Select Committee on Security and Justice received 24 submissions from the following individuals and organizations, and they are all listed. The next point deals with the committee consideration. We received a briefing by the Department of Home Affairs on the bill on the 2nd of November 2022. On the 9th of November, the committee received a briefing by the IEC on the formula for the calculation of seats as proposed in the bill. On the 11th of November, the committee received a briefing by the content advisor on written submissions to the bill, and a briefing by the parliamentary legal advisor on the tagging of the bill. The Department of Home Affairs and the IEC responded to written submissions on the bill on the 14th of November. On the 16th of November, the committee deliberated and proposed amendments to the bill. On the 21st of November, the Senior Counsel on behalf of the Department of Home Affairs and the Office of the Chief State Advisor and the IEC of South Africa briefed the committee on the proposed amendments to the bill. I'm sorry, I just read that wrong. Basically, what the report says is that we were briefed by Senior Counsel on behalf of the Department of Home Affairs. We were briefed by the IEC, the Office of the State Law Advisor and the IEC, as well as Parliamentary Legal Services. The committee deliberated on the proposed amendments presented at this meeting on the 23rd of November, which is today, it was earlier this week. The committee deliberated and proposed further amendments to the bill, and today the committee deliberated and adopted the proposed amendments clause by clause. The committee further adopted, the committee report, we still to do that, but that is currently contained in the bill, in the report. In terms of consensus, the Select Committee considered the proposed amendment clauses presented by the Office of the State Law Advisor with the Department of Home Affairs, confirming its agreement with the proposed amendments. I think it's the Department of Home Affairs, the Independent Electoral Commission, as well as Parliamentary Legal Services. The chairperson put the bill for consideration, and the bill was supported by the majority of members. That's still to be determined. And in terms of the recommendation, the Select Committee on Security and Justice, having considered the Electoral Amendment Bill, National Assembly Section 75, referred to it and classified by the JTM as Section 75 bill reports the bill with the proposed amendments for the National Council of Provinces be considered. Members, that is largely the report. If there are any additions that you want to make to this report, kindly do so. If you feel you are happy with the content thereof and you wish to move to the adoption of the report, kindly also give me an indication. Over to you, Honorable Members.
Thank you, Chairperson. We agree with the report. You took us through, and I want to propose the adoption of this report, Chair.
Thank you very much, Honorable Bartlett. Are there any seconder to the report?
I so second it, Chairperson.
Thank you very much, Honorable Dango. Are there any objections and or abstentions with regard to the committee report?
I object.
Honorable Lavastakni.
Yes, thank you, Chair. I object.
Thank you. Okay, Honorable, the DA objects. Are there any abstentions? Okay, I don't think there's any abstentions. Thank you very much, all members. I think that the report is also duly adopted by the committee. I think we've actually exhausted our agenda, honorable members, and I think, perhaps in terms of conclusion, I think the committee has taken into account the input of the public, has proposed amendments which will serve to equalize and create parity in relation to the signature requirements in the bill. The proposed amendments to Schedule 1A also further enhances the bill by inserting highest proportion instead of most votes, and an inclusion of a new paragraph which is required in order to do a reverse forfeiture calculation, which in essence is to protect seats mid-year should a vacancy arise. Further, the inclusion of a clause which sets out the establishment and functioning of an electoral reform consultation panel goes a long way in addressing the concerns raised in the public submissions, which requested the need for broader electoral reform. This panel, once established, will receive the views and opinions of all relevant stakeholders in the formulation of such reform post the 2024 election. In conclusion, honourable members, the proposed amendments serve to enhance and strengthen the bill and will go a long way in ensuring a free and fair election by including independent candidates in the 2024 elections. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank all stakeholders, the Minister, the Department and Senior Legal Counsel, the IEC commissioners and officials, the State Law Advisor and Parliamentary Legal Services for working quickly and efficiently in ensuring that we refer a well thought out proposed amendments to the Portfolio Committee for their further deliberation. I wish to also thank members of the committee for their commitment to this process. I know it has been a very protracted process, but I would also want to thank officials that assisted the committee throughout this process. With that said, honourable members, we're done with the business of this meeting, and I'd like to take this opportunity to declare this meeting closed. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you, Chair.
Alibongwe.
Bye.
Gamala makasikas.